Okay, OIT family reunion at Epcot. Drinking around the world? You definitely have to start in Mexico with some tequila shots, especially on Cinco de Mayo. Oh wait, Cinco de Mayo. Oh, the tech bar is having the special today with Luis Giraldo. Oh, alright, let's go. I'm gonna go take a seat and watch the show. Ladies and gentlemen, the moment you've all been waiting for is finally here. The Tech Bar, featuring Super Cousin Danny, featuring Powerhouse Ray, and this week we brought our Cinco de Mayo special with Luis Giraldo of Scalepad. Ladies and gentlemen, as always, grab your favorite drinks. And Luis, I know you know what this is. And let's get right into the show.
Like, on the drive down. I knew I'd need them.
I love it, like... You just hear Ashley just filling up her wine glass.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, something. I'm Ray Rossini, otherwise known as Powerhouse Ray, and this is
Super Cousin Danny.
I like that as Screen Connect Danny. But I like that. You're doing the whole like, yeah. This is Super Cousin Danny. Can you give me that, like, you know what I'm talking about? Quiet Thunder. You know exactly what I'm talking about. You were probably
there's enough drink.
I
could try again later, but I'll do it now. See which one's
all right,
better.
Go ahead.
It's Super Cousin Danny. Too much.
That sounds like the cable guy, dude. like the mask, like smoking. Like, dude.
Oh my god.
Oh, we're a bunch of idiots. You know, I was listening to you know that have you heard the show The Basement Yard? There are these two idiots that are on a podcast from New York.
No, I have not.
Oh, they're two knuckleheads. They both, you know, they say it, high ADHD. One's like a more serious sports ball knucklehead. One's a crazy like geek knucklehead, and they're just idiots. And it's the most entertaining thing to listen to. And I'm listening to it, and I'm like, oh, they're so fucking stupid. I'm like, that's some shit we do on Tech Bar. And then I realize we're two freaking idiots.
But we do it better. That's the thing. We do it better.
They got some major money. I think you know, I'm not going to say who does better because we don't know the math. It's possible Tech Bar does better, but my point was we're knuckleheads, but we bring in somebody that can bring a bit of class, a bit of poise, a bit of decorum to the show. This guy, Mr. Hips Don't Lie Luis.
Decorum. Is that what we're going with? Okay, I'll bite.
My brother from another mother, Mr. Luis Giraldo. How you doing, bro?
First of all, I can't believe Simon actually had a bottle of aguardiente tuqueño on the little intro video. I put it in the chat. I don't know if you'll see it, but I'm going to need some of that. And so please hold one for me.
That's my favorite thing to do. Like, you know, because we all do a bunch of conferences and everything. And my favorite thing to do is like find a bottle of aguardiente or like something, you know, that you know they're not drinking in Vegas or in Chicago or the places we go to. So I'm like, that's my favorite thing in the world. And when people take it like, oh damn. Mr. Giraldo, I imagine you have quite a bit of experience with aguardiente, yes?
Too much experience. If that's possible, yes.
And we know there's only two kinds. There's the bottle with the blue label and there's the bottle with the red label. And that's basically it. That's there's no. All right. So for the people that have not tried aguardiente before, can you give what is your explanation of what this is?
Probably the best thing I can compare it to that a lot of people would know is probably like Greek ouzo, because it's sort of that
Okay.
anise flavor. Um, it's illegal to export because it's so intoxicating,
Yeah.
but it's kind of so ingrained in the culture in Colombia. It's
Oh
really
my God, yeah.
insane. And aguardiente antioqueño, which is the one that Simon was holding up, is really the one that has kind of climbed up to the top. That's the thing that a lot of people really like the most. It's the thing that when you play those little games, bouncing a coin into a cup and
Yeah.
making all your friends drink. You play that with aguardiente. You mix it with condensed milk of all the possible things you could mix liquor with.
I've
And
never
there's,
had that. Is that a thing? I've never had that. How is that?
well, you do it to punish people, so I'm not sure
Oh,
that you want to
okay.
have that.
Okay, no, I'm good. I have Danny. Danny puts salt in Cuban coffee, so I'm
You know,
good.
it sounds very similar to like what's it called?
Hold on, salt and Cuban coffee?
Yeah. Yeah. This is the
Look
this
at
is the
the
conversation
bow of
listen,
shame. That was
we're
the bow
having.
of shame right there.
You cannot say
Because
salted.
this has been going
It's
on.
a
Hold on. I got to
pinch
preface
of
this.
salt. Pinch.
Before you go off the rails, we haven't even gotten there yet. Let me give a little backstory. All right. This has been going on for 6 years already, I think. So when we were all in the office, Danny's in Tampa now, I'm in Miami, but when we were all in the office, Danny would make Cuban coffee. And one day he got in his head that you put salt in other foods to enhance flavor. So you put salt in Cuban coffee. I don't know where he got it from. I don't know where he got it from, but he did it. And then he told us, and it tasted like ass. It tasted like there was soap in it or something. Go ahead, Danny. You can take it from here.
First of all, that's not what happened. I'm just saying it made sense because it enhances flavor. How I got it was from my grandmother. She used to do it, but it's not like it's salt bay, like little.
How did you
little
do? Did you do Salt Bay or did you
Yeah,
do like
I didn't do a
bam?
lot. I didn't do a lot. But here's the funny thing, Luis.
It was
I made
horrible.
coffee
It
and
was
they
absolutely
loved it.
horrible.
They loved it every time I made it, and I always made it with it. The moment I said it, it's like, oh, this is horrible. So what do you think on that?
I don't get too adventurous with coffee, but I'll tell you this one place here in town in Vancouver does incredible breakfast called Medina Cafe. They do this lavender coffee, and I never imagined lavender with my coffee, but lavender coffee is actually quite nice. So yeah, put that on your radar.
Yeah, that's cool. So needless to say, he's full of shit that everybody liked it. So to this day, I would call Marissa because she's driving, so I'm not going to call her. But yeah, but all that to TLDR today, talking with Tony Francisco about this exact subject. Danny says, "Oh, it's only supposed to be in café con leche," and the whole thing fell apart 7 years later.
All right. So the whole
am I lying?
No, you're not. You're not. So the whole reasoning behind it is because my grandmother says they always made it with a little bit of salt in the Cuban coffee before you mixed it with the sugar. It's like you put the salt.
But in café con leche, where you have the milk that is absorbing more of it, it's not as cafecito, not a shot.
Yeah, not black coffee.
Yeah.
All right, Luis. Before we go any crazier, we learned this a long time ago. We want to make the introductions and give that 30-second pitch right up front because when we start drinking, dude, you know how it gets. And you and I have lots of good times, so I don't want to take away any of that. So what I'm going to do is Danny's going to put you on screen, full screen. You got 30 seconds to talk about Luis, the awesome guy from Scalepad. You give your intro. Don't worry about the Spotify. We'll get to that. All right.
Well, thanks for the privilege. First of all, I'm a longtime listener, first time visitor, as I said in the chat in response to somebody. I love that you guys put this together and have a little bit of fun and just a conversation. And I've always admired how much you focus on building and maintaining and creating community. I'm gonna people are gonna come up to me and call me Hips Don't Lie, Luis. I think I made a mistake putting that up there, but that'll be fun. All right, so I'm Luis, longtime MSP owner. Finally exited the MSP a couple years back, and but also have been straddling the fence of a software for the last 10 years and been at Scalepad for the last 3. Scalepad has a few solutions. We have 6 products: lifecycle management, VCIO, QBR, backup monitoring, GRC, a product called Control Map. We have a great BI tool for ConnectWise Manage called Cognition 360. And most recently, we have a great quote-to-cash platform called Quoter, solving a ton of challenges that MSPs have. But I feel like today's conversation is actually going to be about something else entirely. And I want to get into a little bit of this right now. I made a special effort to have it ready for today's conversation. And so, come on, guys, come back up on the screen. I feel a little bit lonely now here in this one-man show.
There you go. What's up, Danny? Go ahead, dude. All right. Only you would get on stage. And Danny, yeah, we should coordinate a little bit. But Luis knows this. Luis is also a founder, and you go through the paces, you start to give off control to others. And I used to produce the tech bar, and Danny's been taking producer duties. And so, we're in this awkward stage where we're like, no, you, no, me. And so we apologize for the technical errors. But only the gentleman that is Luis Giraldo would get on stage, and the first thing he says is starts thanking everybody else. Dude, you are a true gentleman. And I don't know why you're on this show. Honestly, if you're gonna have, if you're gonna be like that, if you're gonna be that guy that's gonna be nice and shit, I don't know if we can be friends. Of course, I'm kidding. But like you said, we're here for the drinks, so let's get some drinks. Let's start with you, Luis. What are you drinking, sir?
All right, I pulled out the doubled oaked Woodford Reserve, and I gotta probably go put another ice cube in this, but I've got a little bit of a cool glass scenario going on. I'm not sure if you can see that little indentation on the bottom of the glass. So the ice cube sits a little higher. The only problem I was telling Danny backstage is you tend to over pour because the ice cube sits a lot higher, and you tend to try to measure based on the ice cube. So I may have poured myself like a 20 ounce bourbon here, but
it's okay because we have our drinks. We're good. You want to describe what we're drinking today?
Well, before Tony Francisco made fun of my sock coffee, he had mentioned to us that we got to try 1800 and apple juice. And let me tell you, I've already had a few sips. It's actually not that bad.
Good Lord,
remember, he said it's a very specific pour. It's half and half.
Okay, give me the math. Half and half.
That's it.
I totally realized now I told you guys I'd have gin and tonic, but then I saw this staring at me.
That's so much better, yeah. Luis, have you ever tried this 1800 or tequila and apple juice?
No. In fact, I don't. We were joking earlier that I tend to not have tequila very much. Unless you happen to be within earshot, and then I'm definitely having tequila. But
that's true. Yeah, that's the fair warning. If you're in my vicinity, they used to say, what was it? Steve Jobs had the area of illusion. You go around him and he tell you you're going to do these impossible things, and you're like, yeah, and then he walked away, and you're like, what just happened? Apparently, if you're in my vicinity, tequila shots ensue. So, yeah, and it's fitting that Tony's the one that gave us this drink. That makes sense. So, all right, Danny, we have a toast here. I'm sorry, we have tech bar.
We got to do
that first. Oh, we got some rules. We can't just go straight. It's not straight to the debauchery, sir. There's decorum here. So I'll go off on the first 3, and then Luis, you wrap it up for me. The first one: the bartenders are always right. For the purpose of this show, Luis, you are a bartender tonight. There's no politics or religion at the bar, just drinking and laughs. Number 3, if you hear these words, you drink. Namaste, mute, or off the rails. All right, Luis, take us down with 4-5-6.
All right, number 4, sports are on 24/7. What happens at the bar stays at the bar. And of course, if the bartender is wrong, see rule number 1. Nothing like circular logic to solve all problems.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I've never been wrong unless it was that one time that I was wrong about being wrong, and I was wrong about that. Yeah, one of those things. So we're not just a random drinking show. We do have a toast because that's what's, we're gentlemen on this show. Danny, why don't you read the toast off to us?
Pa arriba, pa abajo, al centro, pa dentro. To Cinco de Mayo. Let's go.
To Cinco de Mayo, baby.
Órale. That's it.
Ándale, pues. So Luis, what were you doing on the on Cinco de Mayo, dude?
I guess that was Sunday.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was Sunday. Yep.
You know what? It seems like a long time ago. I probably should check my calendar. See what I was doing on
It's
Sunday.
like I had 3 investor calls and 2 MSPs.
Oh, I remember. Well, it was the Vancouver Marathon was on Sunday, so like it was a bit of gridlock going on. I did manage to sneak out and play some tennis with the wife. We're trying to get more active now that I'm on the 5th floor as of a couple weeks ago, and so yeah, played a little tennis and then chilled out for the rest of the day, kind of thing. You know, Sundays are for that.
Nice.
So I gotta ask, how often do you do stairs instead of the elevator? Just curious.
Well, I live on a 28th floor, so that would be 100% elevator.
Oh, okay.
100% of the time.
I don't know why I thought I heard 5th. I apologize for that.
No, that's my age. The 5th floor, 50. I'm 50 a couple weeks ago.
Oh, happy
Danny,
birthday, brother! I
lay
didn't
off
realize.
the tequila for a second, will you?
He said he was
apple
drinking
juice.
earlier than we
The
were.
apple
So,
The apple juice was
The apple
fermented
juice.
as well.
you know what? It's not bad. It's actually very. This will do some damage. So, and the reason I was open to trying this, besides being a Tony Francisco recommendation, which Luis, you know, that comes with challenges, right? There's
The
one of them
distinguished
being waking
gentleman
up.
from Florida.
Yeah, exactly. So I normally drink tequila with cranberry. That's something Danny and I have a cousin from Mexico, and she turned me on to that. So, and I drink tequila normally anyway, as you know. So tequila and cranberry is really good. It's a nice, refreshing drink, and this is pretty damn good. And you got vitamins. So namaste.
And fruit.
Yeah.
Fuck, man. And fruit.
Oh, namaste. The rule number 2.
There you go. Danny, what about you? Cinco, what were you doing, bro?
Nothing. I just stayed here and we didn't do anything. Too much craziness. Although the community did do like a little Cinco de Mayo like celebration on the Friday before. So they had some taco trucks and stuff like that. So we went there for a little bit, but for the most part, just relaxed.
Nice, man. Nice. So I went to, my birthday was Saturday, May the 4th. Most of my friends know I'm a Star Wars nerd a little bit. So I tell my wife, I'm like, I'm turning 45. Let's go to Disney. We're annual pass holders anyway, so we were there the weekend before. And I'm like, you know what? I decided like on Tuesday, like we're gonna go. It's the only time I've ever done it. May the 4th is gonna be awesome. Star Wars. Chris Phillips and his friends were going there. I was gonna go meet him, and we get there and it's fun, it's chaos and whatever. It's a blast. And then I'm like, we had made plans just automatically after Hollywood. We do Epcot on the next day. Epcot being Sunday, being Cinco de Mayo, being Mexico. That was not smart. So we normally, we go straight to the around the world. My wife goes to France. She gets breakfast. I got my own places. So this time we completely avoided the countries. It was a madhouse. It was absolutely insane. It was fun.
I believe it.
But yeah, man. Yeah.
So we actually went to Epcot on your birthday because we couldn't go to Hollywood Studios. And when we attempted to go to Hollywood Studios, right outside the skyline, it said closed because they were open.
It's and you know what? So because I got this bright idea on Tuesday, I'm like, I go to register online. Of course, just like you, it's closed. And so I'm like, you know what? It's my birthday. I'm going to try to go for some Disney magic. I'm going to try to do I'm going to see if we can do, I'm going to text them. I'm going to do the chat and see if they'll, hook me up. Be like, look, I'm a Star Wars fan, blah, blah, do the whole sad story. It's my first time going. Please, please, please. It's just 3 of us. Give us some magic. It was 7, but whatever. Oh, thanks, Alex. I'll show the picture afterward. The chat person was like, oh, you can go to another park and just try to hop over. And I'm like, it's my birthday. It's May the 4th. There's no way it's going to be packed. She's like, no, you can go whenever you want. Go for it. I'm like, okay. Thankfully, the next day it opened up for like 20 seconds and I got it done. But thank God, because I would have been with you at Epcot and then I'd have to be with you at my birthday at Epcot. Nah.
But you could have just celebrated Cinco de Mayo early too. So
that is true. All right, Danny, we got a commercial here going.
Yes, sir.
There we go.
Again?
Don't worry, you're the next caller in line.
Yeah, right. Don't sit on that line listening to boring hold music. It's time for a... That's right. Hold Music Remix is here to turn that call to your insurance company into party time. Simply load the Hold Music app onto your phone, and instantly any hold music will become a Hold Music Throwdown. Get this exclusive app by calling 1-833-MSP-NETWORK now. Yep, that's right. You're going to need to make one last call to get this app. Operators are standing by. Please allow 4 to 6 weeks for delivery. Shipping and handling may apply.
Nice.
There's a lot of digits in that number. It reminds me of when people would put like one or two extra letters in their 1-800 numbers just because it could spell the whole word. And by the time you finish dialing, like somebody's already answering the phone and stuff.
No, it's funny because like there's only a handful of us now. Like I got Glenn Holcomb from Mighty Manatee. Like and then the 2-letter hyphen and then the 5 digits or 4 digits depending on the region. Like that was pre-me, but Glenn is old enough, and because VoIP is my space, I know telco way more than I'd ever want to. And that's always a fun one of like talking about that shit. You talk about those things, exchanges, like now nobody has any idea what that is. So no 7-digit dialing either. So but
yeah, no, I'm painfully aware of the exchanges because in Vancouver there's the New Westminster Exchange, there's the Burnaby Exchange, and they all have the 604 error code in. But there's nothing that I kind of hate the most is it's like, oh, I'm in Vancouver. Well, your number came up as New Westminster. Why is it that way? And so I always try to find the correct exchanges to make sure the number comes up as Vancouver. But sometimes you just lose control of that. I haven't changed my cell phone number in however many years, 2 decades now, but.
Same, yeah.
With businesses and trying to get them new numbers, it's like, well, we want our number to show up as Vancouver. It was like, you don't control that, and you can't get any more numbers than that.
So they still care about that locally now? Like,
we get a lot.
I guess Miami's been like that for a long time that we've been split.
I would say maybe it's minimal. Like the occasional person has the OCD, turned on to level 11, and they're like every part of the whole thing is a nuisance. But yeah. This is why VoIP and 10-foot poles are like made for each other.
Exactly. Agreed. All right, so we got a game coming up. Let's see what's going on. Oh,
damn it! Before we do that, we actually forgot Luis.
It's time to set up the game
already. Did we? Yeah.
So before we do that, Luis, we technically come up with a word of the day. And it usually comes from our guests. So,
word of the day. I wasn't prepared for a word of the day.
We're never prepared, sir.
Chateau. Chateau is the word of the day.
When you said shot,
I like that. I like that because when Keith Nelson comes on, Keith got a lake house, and his lake house, he refers to it as a tiny little cabin. And you look at it, and it's gorgeous. And I always refer to it as the chateau. So I love that. Chateau is a perfect word. Cheers, gentlemen.
The reference for me was more along the lines of how cozy and warm I feel under this umbrella, under this roof of trustworthiness and community that you've built here for everybody, Ray. And this, it feels like a little chateau. I want to turn on the fireplace, have a little drink. I'm feeling great about now in my little chateau.
Coño, the amount of bullshit. Hold on, let's go to the commercial. We'll come back.
One lightning round.
Yeah, so like a little teaser before you get started, Ray. When you said Shah, I thought you were going to say something else, but that's a little teaser for everybody else later on.
Oh, for me even.
Wow. Danny, go ahead. It's your show, bro.
No, dude, this is you.
Shit, it's me. Okay. Well, damn, okay. So we do have a show notes and the whole thing. It's amazing. Simon does everything. So that's the way that goes. All right. So what we're doing here is the whole point of lightning round. If you need me, I'll play the video again. But the whole point of lightning round is we're going to give you rapid fire questions. You give me the first answer that comes up. All right, don't think too much about it. Just what pops up, right?
All right,
So,
let's go.
Favorite movie of all time?
The Firm.
Ooh, that's a good
I
one.
like that.
Why?
It had this incredible soundtrack. It was a time when I was like really exploring music and discovering jazz. And Dave Grusin, who was an incredible pianist, did this pretty much instrumental piano soundtrack for almost the entirety of this movie. And I remember sitting at my little keyboard for literally hours on hours and hours, just trying to pick up and learn some of these licks and some of these things from this movie. And to this day, it's still one of those movies that whenever I hear favorite movie, that's the first thing I think of is this movie, The Firm, with Tom Cruise. Great movie, by the way.
Nice.
It is.
Is that the one where he said you can't handle the truth, or that
No,
was
it's Few Good Men.
A Few Good Men? Also a good movie. Yeah, very good. I like it.
That's the one that he's
All
running around crazy with a briefcase away from people all the time.
That's
Yep.
true. All right, Luis, the real stuff. Pancakes.
Pancakes.
Are you a
100%
simple
pancakes.
pancake guy? Or are you like getting all fancy schmancy? Or getting like lingonberries? What are you doing?
Okay, so I should qualify because my wife is Swedish, and in Sweden they do this thing called Swedish pancakes, which are these super skinny things that you do with not lingonberry sauce, but with jam and a little bit of sugar, and they're kind of like an afternoon treat. It's not so much of a breakfast meal, if you will, but ever since I can remember, childhood, my mom used to make pancakes on the weekend, proper like Aunt Jemima type pancakes, the things you'd see on the cover of that bottle, and then my wife found this. I'm a terrible cook. I appreciate and can tell you when food is bad or good, but I don't cook it. And she found this Australian YouTuber that does this crazy recipes. One of them was this incredible pork belly recipe. And she did the pork belly. The pork belly is amazing. My wife does incredible pork belly. But then she found that she had this pancake recipe. And it's this incredible pancake recipe, fluffy, delicious, a little bit of butter, a little bit of syrup. That's it. Super simple. I don't no like whipped cream, no nothing. Just butter and syrup.
So what would be the difference between that pancake and like a crepe? Because it sounds like a crepe.
It is kind of like a crepe. The thing that crepes tend to be more savory, I guess. But the Swedish ones are sweet. You tend to put a little bit of jam in them and a little whipped cream, and so they're kind of fluffy and light and sweet instead of savory.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
Nice. All right. This one's kind of weird because if you ask me, you're already a superhero. But if you were another superhero, if you were different, and we're gonna get to why I call him a superhero. This man is literally a triple threat. We'll get to it later. But if you were a superhero, what is Danny asking the hard-hitting questions?
I don't know, man. The Green Lantern, maybe.
You picked the worst Ryan Reynolds movie of all time. Come on.
Yeah. I love Ryan Reynolds. He's a funny guy, and I love how much he jokes about how bad that movie is. And so
he does. He owns it.
The superhero question is funny because I ask this all the time, but I ask it in a different form. It's like, what superpower would you like? Would you like super strength or invisibility? And most times people say super strength just to not have to admit that they'd like to be invisible. But I think most people would like invisibility. I don't know. I think a superhero that could, give people more time would be an incredible, cool hero to be. It's like
Marker strength.
Yeah. No. I didn't get a chance to say goodbye to a loved family member. Hey, fly in.
There's this movie talking about that. There's this movie my wife put on. My dad passed away in 2014. Must have been like 2 or 3 years later. And she's like, "Oh, this movie's great. You're really gonna like it." Blah blah. And I'm like, "Okay." And it's about a son who he's having trouble. He's having trouble connecting with his young son, and his father had just passed away, and he starts going through his dad's stuff, and his son is on his mind, and suddenly he gets transported back in time where his dad is alive, younger, and apparently, like, the whole story is going back to talk to his dad to figure out how to repair the relationship with the young son. And it was one of those, it's like a Monsters Inc. moment when like Sully flips open the paper on the clipboard, you see Boo's piece of wood there, and you're like, ah! It was bad timing. It was a beautiful story. It was phenomenal, but it was like gut wrenching. But I love that idea though, being able to go back to talk to your loved ones or whoever you want. Yeah, that's good.
I think the thing that gets me the most about these things is, especially now that we're getting a little bit older, Ray, you're approaching the fifth floor, as I called it. But people don't care about this stuff until they care about this stuff. And it's 100% this kind of like age range thing, like priorities in life as they change and whatnot. So we're doomed as a human race to continue, going through the same cycle, I guess, for eternity.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I feel like time is the one thing that people have the most regret about. And so how cool if you could be a superhero. It gives people some time back.
That would be absolutely phenomenal. That kind of makes me feel bad about the rest of the questions here because they're not that deep.
We'll make them philosophical somehow. Let's go.
So, all right, beach vacation or mountain retreat?
Oh my God, I wish the other option was like city slicker tour or something, because I feel like I argue about this with my wife all the time. She's totally like into the beach and like sitting by the pool or the ocean. And I find
that's what it says. Beach vacation or city tour.
That is exactly what it says. City tour. Thank you very much. I want to go find some nice bourbon, some good watering holes. Check out some architectural sites. I love getting a little bit of that sort of nitty grittiness of a town that I'm visiting. Get soaked into the culture a bit. That's the kind of thing that's fun. I find beaches are, and maybe this is a factor of getting older too. I can now slow down a little bit more than I used to be able to. But when I had an MSP, there was no such thing as a vacation, and so like the beach seemed like a total waste of time. And I never wanted to do those. I'm coming around to the idea of beach vacations now.
I like I'm not a beach guy, especially growing up in Miami. Like going to the beach is just I can think of 1,000 worse tortures I'd rather do. But I love the water, right? I love like wide open water. But I agree with you. I think that's what I think it is an age range, because like you, I've been like thinking about the existential stuff. We were having a conversation at CCF. It was ChannelCon last year. I was having a conversation with some MSPs, and they were talking about what it looked like to exit the MSP. Somehow we got into what you would want to see if you exit life, like what on your deathbed, what you're looking for. Ooh. And even the stuff I talk about with my family today is about that. It's legacy, it's mortality, it's and it's fun because it gives you kind of clarity where you look at it and you're like, this is bullshit. It doesn't matter. It just gives you a little bit of peace, because I think that's why we give less fucks as we get older, because we realize it's all bullshit anyway. It doesn't matter.
I wonder if I still have it. Do you know about the Zero Fucks app?
Yes. Yeah.
Well,
I got one, and I'm gonna give you one better.
The Zero Fucks app. Zero Fucks Given.
Yeah. So I actually have.
He's got the tangible.
I have a very limited amount of fucks in this jar, and so this is my jar of fucks.
Wow.
Yeah. I have that, and I have a tiny violin, so that when people start complaining about, oh, woe is me and all that nonsense, you just, oh, would you like this for your concert? Yeah. I don't know, man.
It's absolutely true. He would buy them like in bulk.
Speaking of being,
give them out. Yeah.
Speaking of being in control of your emotions, I started reading this year, The Daily Stoic. I've never been, a heavily philosophical guy. Again, until I started getting a little bit older, and this stoicism stuff is super interesting, because like it just kind of, it's like a daily guilt trip of like how petty and ridiculous you are about everything most of the time. And so I have found it just kind of brings me back to reality. It's a bit of that reality check. When you have that good friend that tells you when you're just being a jerk all the time.
Yes.
Anyways, yeah.
I love that, because like, even as you say it, I'm sitting here and I'm like, it's a little bit warm in my office. I think tequila and apple juice is hitting, probably more tequila and apple juice, whatever. And I'm like, oh, it's so warm. I should go log into the Nest app and lower it a little bit, but I got to do this other stuff. And I'm like, as you're saying this stuff, like, yeah, who cares? Like, why does that matter in the grand scheme of things?
Exactly.
But I appreciate stuff like that. I appreciate where you can reset and focus on what really matters. It gives you a different perspective, and I think you come out with a little better quality output, no matter what you're doing.
Daft Punk. I'm gonna have to mute this stream. Y'all keep saying beach, and my dog is getting excited.
Phoenix, you want to go to the beach? You want to go to the beach?
Wait, mute.
That means we're drinking, right?
It is a drinking word, yeah. Danny's like, wait, she got us. All right, let's see. I have a question I want to ask, which is, what is your go-to comfort food? Because I think you have a really good answer. But
yes, I do.
But given like the depth with which you've touched our souls with your answers, I think I'm going to go with, if you could have dinner with anyone from previous now, anyone in time, who would it be?
My family.
Your family. Yeah.
Man,
anyone in particular?
My wife and kid.
Wow, man. Yeah. I really wish I would have gone with the comfort food now. I feel like I just put it down. My condolences, brother.
Well, actually, Ray, I got an off-the-script lightning round question for you to bring us back to the
look at Nikki. Like, stop. But you have my sincere condolences, brother.
Maybe it's the booze talking now.
Yeah.
But there was this video. It was a YouTube short. And it was these parents, they were backstage, and they'd brought all these kids, and they had asked these questions to these kids, and there was like a bunch of lightning round questions. One of the questions they asked the kids was, hey, if you could have dinner with anybody in the world, who would be? And they literally 99% of the kids answered my mom and dad or my family. And it was one of those videos that by the end, you're just like, you're just kind of losing your marbles a little bit. Because you realize like how like outside we're thinking of like of the things that are most important to us, really. Yeah. And so ever since that video, like this question comes up every once in a while, and it's like this lightning flash of an answer. It's like I have no hesitation, because everybody would given the chance would probably correct their answer, be like, oh, well, yeah, of course. Like, I assumed you meant not including your immediate family that you love so much and that you do everything in life for. And so,
but I get what you're saying though. You look at it, and that's why I'm such a big proponent of expanding your awareness. That's why I love online communities. Actually, where you and I first met, online communities.
Really?
Pool party. But I love getting to meet other people. You and I both do a lot of travel. You do multitudes more travel than I do, but we get to expand our audiences. We get to go meet tons of different people, hear tons of different stories, and I feel that's so important, whether it's online or in person, because it expands your awareness, and what you consider normal becomes so different when you meet everybody else and understand what their normal is. And honestly, not to overuse the word, but it kind of normalizes, and you realize your shit's kind of bullshit. Maybe clean drinking water for a couple kids is probably a little more important, which I appreciate that. But I do think that's a function of how much you travel and the number of people you meet. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. Besides being a good person, of course.
I think those, like the awareness and the travel maybe goes hand in hand with that perspective. And speaking of perspective, I joke a bunch that my favorite educational medium is TikTok, and my algorithm is dialed in. Like I have these really, really cool videos that come up for me every now and then. And one of them was recently this ex-CIA spy or somebody was being interviewed, and they were asked the question, what is like something practical that everybody could use today, like to improve their lives? And he talked about this idea of like perception versus perspective, right? Because you hear a lot this comment, people say perception is reality, or the thing that you are intaking through your own eyes is reality. But what he talked about is like, if you can put yourself in the shoes of the other person and their perspective, suddenly you have this whole other world of possibilities of how to think about things, how to address a situation, how to challenge a problem, and so on. And I thought that was a really insightful thing. I'm still trying to like figure out how to
that's so
apply
cool.
it. But I thought it was interesting.
But that's why I love, because you don't get the whole picture when you go meet people and you go talk to people. It's you get the seeds of ideas. You know what I mean? Like it's not. It's one of those things. You ever see somebody painting something, right? You got Bob Ross, bless his soul, and the fluffy little trees and whatever. You're a color. You meet me. I'm a color. You meet Danny. He's a color. But suddenly you start to blend them in different ways, and the culmination of those stories, the sum of those stories, is so much more important than those individual colors, because suddenly you can start painting anything. And I know we're going real deep. So, Danny, you do your question. I'll drink and namaste. I mean, that's the best I got.
So, yeah, Luis, I had an off-the-cuff, lightning round question for you, but just to bring us to the Cinco de Mayo, bring us back. So, protein on a taco, favorite one.
Favorite taco?
Favorite protein on a taco. Yeah, Danny makes it these weird ass questions.
Asada.
If I say favorite topping, you could say
no, because if you be like your favorite meat or your favorite, but you got to be like, what carbohydrate do you like to top on top of like?
It could be a mushroom.
What do you like above a pH of 7? What do you?
No, so like carnitas, not for me. Like BB, not for me. I just happen to have this affinity with just like the bottom sirloin, the beef taco, simple onion and cilantro, a little bit of salt. My mouth is watering right now. Shut the hell up.
Ground beef? You're talking about ground beef taco?
No, not ground beef. No. It's like what's the cut? I forget. Carne asada.
Yeah. Oh, I love carne asada. If I got to pick between carnitas and carne asada every day of the week. Mr. Keith Nelson. I'm sorry, Dr. Keith Nelson with his. The drinking word, Keith. You will love to hear it. Luis brought it up. Luis, what is the drinking word you brought up, sir?
Chateau. Chateau is our drinking word today.
There you go. Keith's Chateau on the lake. Cheers, gentlemen.
Cheers. Hey, Keith.
All right. So, Danny, we have a more section. Let's see, do we have a bumper for that? No, we do not. Have fun, sir.
Hold on. I want to answer the question that you asked that you didn't let me answer, which is my favorite comfort food.
Oh, shit. Yes, please.
Only because now I'm thinking about food nonstop. And I feel like... So I'm Colombian, as a lot of people know. And in Colombia, there's various terrains. There's, the coast. There's the Atlantic coast, Pacific coast. There's the mountains. There's the moderate altitudes. And every one of those climates seems to have a very different, cuisine. You get a lot of fish and fried food on the coast, but you get a lot of starch-heavy foods on the higher altitudes. And there's this dish. It's a dish from Antioquia. It's called bandeja paisa. Paisa is sort of
that's my favorite, dude.
Mm-hmm. Paisa is the demonym for people from Antioquia. And so you have like ground beef, eggs, plantain, arepas, chorizo. It's like this whole
fried pork.
Oh, it's incredible. Chicharrón, of course.
Well, I know. I'm for our English audience.
Yeah, I've just ruined this stream for everybody. I'm sorry.
No, I if anything, we're gonna take off now and we're just gonna go, go eat. Jeez, man.
Well, the sad part is you guys can in Miami, you can go around the corner and find this shit. I
for sure. There's 19. Oh, well, Danny's in Tampa. He's screwed, but I got like 20, 30 places on Uber Eats. I could do that right now. Like,
send pictures, man. I will live vicariously through you. Yeah.
Are you going to MSP GeekCon?
I'm not coming to MSP GeekCon, but I'll be down there. I don't think I'm coming to Orlando until IT Nation again this year, actually. But I'll be in Miami. I'll be down in Miami at the end of August, so we should probably hook up.
Let's get together. Let's go get some food, man.
100%. 100%.
Yeah. So, all right, Danny, you have your more I'm going to let you take it back now that I'm going to be ordering some food. You go do your thing, man. I'm going to enjoy my
I'm literally like on DoorDash right now. I'm like, where is the closest Colombian restaurant? It's going to tell me Seattle or something.
Okay, so let me ask you something. Because you're north of the border, do you have Colombian options near you, or you got to make it at home, or what's going on?
No, we do. Actually, there's this on Granville Street, which is literally a block away, 2 blocks away. There's this, it's kind of like Latin American food. They bring a bunch of things from different places because there's a bit of a melting pot here. But they have like chorizo, arepa, all the good stuff. And it's just right on the Granville Strip, which is popular with clubs and stuff like that at night. So it'll be open late. I will be visiting.
Okay.
Definitely, since only like 20 after 4 here right now. I will. That's exactly where I'm going for food in a minute.
So that's good to know that you have Colombian food next to you in Canada.
Well, so
I'm
that's
in
my
Florida.
question, right? Like, you actually have, like, there's a good number of, like, well, is it like, okay, I get it. Here we have Lo Colombiano, the Cubans, the Nicaragua. Like, we have the pockets. We know where to go. You go to Weston or Doral for Venezuelans, whatever. Is it over there like LA, where all Latins are just, or Texas, where all Latins are just considered Mexican? Or, like, do you really have, is it a hodgepodge, or do you have, like, the individual, you know what I mean, right? Like,
Yeah. I would say that
Vancouver
Latinos do not get automatically labeled as Mexican. Although I do understand your comment, because I do see that happen. Like, if you go to LA, like, everybody's Mexican. You could speak with a Argentinian accent and be like, "Oh, what part of Mexico is that accent from?" But in Vancouver,
like,
you have
we get it. We talk to somebody and we can pull it out immediately. Oh no, he's Costa Rican, he's Nicaraguan, he's Colombian, he's Venezuelan. Like, we can pick it up. He's Spaniard, right? Like, we can pick it up. But it's South Florida. It's a little different. You know?
Yeah, South Florida is such a melting pot. Vancouver has smaller pockets for sure. You don't see a ton of Colombian people here. You do, I guess, mostly find Mexican folks, Central American folks, but Nicaragua, Honduras, Guatemala. And I used to be in that scene a bit when I was playing music full time, because I was playing in Latin music orchestras. And so wherever we were playing, there's like all the Latinos were coming out to hang out and dance and do the thing. And so like you'd see a bit of the crowds from the various demographics sort of come out. And there was always a pretty good cross section of folks here.
Nice. Well, Keith, I told you Dr. Nelson's going to come out and he's going to say, I have a cabin. And for Keith, Luis's drinking word is Chateau.
Chateau.
There you go.
I love that.
Yeah, I can be productive.
That is a great lead-in.
You know, Ray, I'll be yelling this across the hall at the next CompTIA event, and then we'll just be both like raising our glass, going, "All right, it's time to drink." Chateau.
We'll
at least it's a family-friendly word.
It's a family-friendly word. So I saw Derek Hennigan's asked. He didn't see the new norm on the drinking words or in the rules. And sir, you're absolutely right. So we did a poll a little while ago. Danny, it's been a few months now. We did the poll for the words.
I think it's been a while. Yeah,
it's been a minute. So we did a poll for the words. New norm got replaced with some other stuff, with some of the rest of the words. But but glad to have you back, Derek. Thanks so much, dude, for pointing it out. All right, Danny. I've over-talked your segment. I apologize, sir. It's all yours.
All right. So if you all remember, what's the special word of the day again? Before you go, Ray?
Chateau.
It's Chateau.
Now, if you remember the teaser that I say when I heard you say it, I thought you were going to say something else.
What's up, Rob?
Like I thought you were going to say
Chateau de Cabine.
No. It's much simpler than that. It's more like
that was kind of sexy though. Going back to our intros, Danny, or what we were talking about before with the Danny, super cousin Danny.
Like I try to do that now, I'm going to sound so slurred. So bad.
What was Keith said something? SRC Danny. SRC Danny is what Keith was saying in the chat.
Oh yeah, super rich.
All right, Luis, give it to me one more time because that sounds like a. Hold on, I'm gonna hold up this cologne. I'm gonna hide the label, and you're gonna give me Chateau de Cabane. Like, give me your sexy. Let
me get up and close to the microphone here.
Wait, let's do this right.
Chateau de Cabane.
Live your life.
I feel like I want to like spray cologne on me.
Oh, Anne Hathaway, where are you? We have your next commercial. Like,
so,
all right, Danny.
So when you initially came up with the word, I thought you were going to say Shakira.
Because your hips don't lie.
Because your hips don't lie.
Danny has been waiting his whole life to make that joke, dude. I think I should take a drink just for that. You know, Danny, how long have you been holding on to that? It's a good joke. Don't lie. I'm not lying. It's a good joke. How long have you been holding on to it, though?
When he said Chateau, because I literally thought he was going to say Shakira. I really think you were gonna.
If anybody knows Danny gets locked. He's not heard anything since you said Chateau the first time. He's been locked onto that joke, looking for his moment. So
That's great.
So what was it
I
again?
love it.
Beach or mountain? I can't remember. I was in the zone right there.
I picked. Well, we changed
Oh,
it to
you're killing
city
me,
tour. We did a on the fly,
See?
continuous improvement on that question. But I will say I do appreciate the mountains as well, and the mountains have this. It's like a whole other vibe about the mountains. People. I hear people talk about, oh, they need the water. They need to like feel and see the open space. And this is kind of like this mindset, right? My wife is one of those folks. She could never live in a landlocked city or somewhere away from the ocean.
I could see.
I grew up in Bogota, which is kind of up in the mountains in the middle of like there's lakes and stuff, but there's no open water. And so I have an affinity with the mountains. And as a kid, I was a Boy Scout. I traveled a bunch.
I'm sorry, dude.
Did all that stuff.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but they're bringing it up. Sarah said it. The thing.
The Chateau. We're drinking at the Chateau.
Kevin. Not to take you off track real quick, but Kevin Dukevich, right? I believe he used to work with Simplex with Bob Coppage. He went over to me now a couple months ago. Anyway, that's Sarah, his wife. She's a Microsoft MVP. Kelvin is not the only MVP in the channel, so I like to knock his ego down a little bit. But I'm sorry. Go ahead, sir. Your story, your eloquent story. I was taking notes.
What was I talking about? Anyways, the mountains, the serenity,
mountains.
the serenity of the mountains, the smell of the pine needles on the ground is the best thing I can relate the mountains to in my, stories of the past. But that's all I'll say. I love the mountains. I'm coming around to the beach. Love the cities. Love the mountains. Coming around to the beach. That's the conclusion.
Yeah.
I like that you have a plan for all three. You're like, look, I'm malleable. We can schedule whatever. I'll work with you, but these are my plans. I got coverage for no matter what. So I appreciate that. That's the concept.
And one of our onboarding questions at Scalepad is, if you could only choose one item or two items to bring with you at a deserted island, on the beach kind of thing, what would it be?
Right.
We recently hired a new FP&A person, and all the answers were not applicable.
I mean, for certain roles, do you prefer to go out or be indoors? And it's like, I prefer to be in the bomb shelter. Like, there's certain roles that this thing is good for. Like, I get it. I completely get it.
Anyways, I had to hold myself back, and I probably, a little too much inside baseball, but I thought it was hilarious because like the perspective that I put on it, right? Speaking of perspective, was this like wild, like, yeah, that's exactly how an FP&A person should be thinking. Are you thinking about the beach? No, I'm not. I'm thinking about numbers. So,
there was somebody, I met somebody the other day. He'd like to explain. Oh no, Danny, Kiki's brother's husband, Thomas, he loves explaining. It was something like, it was tax code or was something so mundane. It was like, and we're at Disney, we're in Epcot drinking around the world. This was the week before Cinco de Mayo. And he's like, he's in love with tax code or something. Like, we drank a lot. Starship was there, so it was a good time. But which is where my Yub Nub came from. But like, it was, and he was just lit up. And we've seen it, right? Like in the technical space, there's some stuff that like makes us happy. And then you talk to somebody else and they're like, my wife will look at stuff and she's like, who cares? And I'm like,
this is the part where I admit to having the part where I admit to having a secret Reddit username that I go and comment on the R Finance Canada subreddit on.
Exactly. That. Yeah. Okay. Yes. You and I had this conversation at one of the CompTIA events, I think, right? Where you were like, you loved, it wasn't just finance. There was something specific for it. What
I just go down the rabbit hole, right? I can't help myself. Yeah. Whether it's like legal terms and conditions or tax code, like if there's something that I need to solve a problem of mine and it involves those things, I will literally go down the rabbit hole. And one of them was, the treatment of certain tax conditions for like options or things like that. And you ask your regular accountant what these things are, and suddenly they have to go do the research because they don't even know. Some of the stuff is really obscure, and so, anyways, I kind of get a kick out of it. Just
I love that. I love that. So some of us know that I'm very honored to know you are not just somebody in the MSP space, somebody in the channel, somebody who advises, somebody who's been speaking, somebody who was an MSP, somebody who is a good friend and confidant in all cases. But on top of that, you have a music career. Like, and I don't mean like play school xylophone, like ding ding ding. I don't mean kazoo. I don't mean like hot cross buns. You have albums. Can we talk about this for a second?
let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay, so guide us to let's start before we get into your albums. Let's start. How did you get into music? And I get Latino music, no shit. Yeah, I get that. But for the rest of the world, that may not know.
No, it actually wasn't like that at all because I feel like I didn't play Latin American music until much later in life. But I kind of didn't really have a musical interest until I was at the summer camp when I was 15. And it was this program that somebody at my school had where they would take kids from schools in Colombia and bring them to either be a counselor in training or whatever in this camp on the Potomac River in Virginia. And so I remember I went and they very international camp. There were people from all over the world. And in the kitchen was this lady, Russian lady. And I say lady, but she must have been in her early 20s. I was 15, so she was a lady to me.
Yeah.
And she'd come out at the end of lunch after everybody had left, and there was a piano in the mess, and she'd just play the piano. She'd like play these incredible like classical pieces, and I was like, wow, that's incredible. And this was 1989. I was 15 years old, and that summer was the hit Right Here Waiting by Richard Marx, and I was obsessed with that song, like to no end. The little piano thing.
It's a good song.
It's a great song. Yeah. And I have another funny story about how I met Richard Marx 30 years later, but
oh wow,
I'll tell that in a minute. And so I come up to her and it's like, hey, can you play this song? Have you heard this song? She's like, she listens to it and she's like, doo-doo, and she literally plays it off her ear. It's like, wow, that's incredible. And then she shows me, and this is when I discover that I had a facility for like music, that I could hear it and that I could replicate it. And I didn't know I had this. Like it was uncharted territory for me. And so I got home, like on my mom's case about getting me a keyboard. She buys me a keyboard the next year for my birthday. And that was literally how I got started. Age 15, age 16. I then went on to be in a rock band in high school, a ska rock band in college. Then I went on to do a recording.
Were you still on keyboard in the ska band, or what were you?
Yes, I was playing keyboards. Okay. Yeah, we were doing a bunch of stuff, and we had won a radio contest and won some recording time. And so I met an audio engineer, and he introduced me to a bunch of people. And to this day, he's like one of my good friends. This guy that I met like when I was 19 years old or whatever. And then I was in this music program in university, and this guy I met was in this well-known rock band. They also had gone through a bit of that. They'd won some radio contests, had a really popular song, and he was a fantastic songwriter. And he was trying to break out of the rock band thing and do his own solo career. But at the same time, he's trying to find somebody to bring into the band to replace him and not just sort of walk out on the band. And he chose me. And so like I ended up playing with this band. We went into the studio. It's a band called Poligamia, which is a funny choice of word for a rock band. And we went into the studio. They had a deal with Sony Music. And the producers for that one record we did in the studio were, at the time, Shakira's bass player and guitar player, Chato Rivas and Sergio Solano. And so they came into the studio with us. We worked together. They brought in her keyboardist to guest a track on one of the tunes.
Brother, you had hair. The face.
I did have hair.
You have hair. It's so crazy. Oh my god!
And my gosh, it was sort of a whirlwind summer. I remember I was teaching music at my old high school. To 8th graders.
I'm sorry. Hold on, Danny. You got to go back to that picture, dude. There's a fanny pack in that picture. We cannot let that slide.
Okay. Hold on. But it's leather. Okay, it's leather. It's not.
It wasn't a pleather. It wasn't vinyl. It was leather. Okay. We'll give it back.
Make it better.
There's a perfectly reasonable explanation for the fanny pack, and let me tell you what it is. You're gonna give me the pass on this one. So back then, we had keyboards that we would save all our sounds and stuff onto floppy disk. And floppy disks were very sensitive to things like magnetic things, X-rays, whatever. So I used to carry all
when
my
you say
floppies.
floppy disk, do you mean like 5 1/4 or 3 1/2?
No, 3.5 inch, and the keyboards they
Okay,
had this
okay.
little like 3.5 inch floppy bay on
Yeah,
the left hand.
I remember that.
And so, I used to keep like multiple copies of all my patches and everything for the shows. And so this was the thing that I carried like it was my passport. Like it just had to be with me at all times. And so the best way to do that I found was with the fanny pack. So don't
That
hate
was
me
your
for it,
early
man.
days CD case. That was your
This-
early days USB hanging from the lanyard.
This
Okay,
picture is from
okay.
1996, and so it goes back a
love
couple
it.
minutes. And so yeah, this picture in particular, we were backstage at the Glen Helen Pavilion, just outside of LA, Orange County. And it was a sort of a festival show. Another Colombian artist, Soraya, was playing. She passed away a few years ago, but and it's a funny story. Soraya had this keyboard player, Olgi Chirino, who is the daughter of Willie Chirino, which is a very well-known Latin American guy.
Yeah.
And in Willie Chirino's band was this guy who was a bass player. And recently I was on Uber where the guy was my Uber driver. And we ended up having this like
Oh my
wild
God.
conversation and driving around in circles talking about Willie Chirino and Olgi Chirino and all sorts of stuff like that. So anyways,
I laugh because I'm going to show this and somebody's going to be like, oh my gosh, that's Enrique Iglesias. Shut up. So, but yes. I mean, seriously, if you want to listen to if you want to go listen to Latin music, and obviously I say Latin when you and I know there's cumbia, vallenato, salsa, merengue, whatever. But if you want to go listen to some quality music, you go listen to Willie Chirino. You're good. That's a good start to your Latin culture. Please,
dude, these comments on YouTube are killing me. Floppy disks in a fanny pack. Can't say I've seen that before. Hello. So first of all, were you even born in the 90s? Like, you don't understand what's going on here.
Okay, so Sarah actually, she might know a little bit here or there, but yeah, she lives in a den of nerds as well. So,
but somebody asked what keyboard I was playing. I was playing a Korg 01W FD, which stood for floppy disk. And it was a great keyboard. It was really the next generation thing that had a better piano sound than the original Korg M1. And if anybody knows anything about music and keyboards, the Korg M1 piano sound is so distinctive because like that was one of the keyboards that got used on so many recordings. And a lot of that sort of late 80s, early 90s music really had so much of that Korg M1 sound. Yeah. O1W FD, that's the one. Yeah. Very cool. You're quick on the draw there. I love.
I am. Yeah. It's. I mean, I know there's been a lot of Chateau talk, but you know, I think.
Oh shit! Got a drink. but actually, so music and Chateau. I was making the joke. I was recently invited onto the Enable podcast, which, by the way, the guys from Glow, Aaron Moffat out of Glow in Scotland is who recommended these microphone covers for the SM7B.
Okay, send me the link, man. I love that. Yeah,
really slick looking, because I know Alex was asking about the cover earlier. And I was like, dude, these covers are incredible. He's like, yes, it's this German company. They're super expensive, but they are so like nice. And so I ordered one, and I have one at the office as well. And they are quality. Like it has like the raised lettering. It looks really slick. So I've been really happy with that.
Nice.
But
that's been my challenge. I find stuff on Amazon, and I'm like you. I don't have released albums. I don't have a professional music career. But, well, that's not true. I did professional music. I didn't create music. But as a sound engineer, like I have the ear like you do, where if it's a substandard, if it's not completely transparent, or it's not doing the job, because this mic already has the filter built in. But if it's not acoustically transparent, I'm going to hear it. It's going to drive me nuts. Yeah. So I know if you're happy with it, I will be happy with it. Please send me that link, brother. That is so beautiful. I love it.
I'll send it out. In fact, my very first record from 2002 was I recorded the vocals for the entire record on an SM7B, very much like this one. They haven't really changed. They now have a newer version where they inserted a dynamic, like a gain stage in the actual path, because these are notorious for being low gain, and so you need an interface that can actually dial up
I have
the volume.
cloud lifter in between.
Yeah,
this
as do
same
I.
thing. You have to have 65. I think the SM7B is like 65, 67 dB. You have to hit. This one's a little better. It's 55, but still, most of them cap out like 40.
Yeah.
So you need a cloud lifter or something else. Yeah,
I have the cloud lifter too, but I found this this German guy that does these like interface reviews on YouTube, and he's like robotic about these interviews. He's hilarious. I'll see if I can find him. I'll drop it in the chat. Anyways, one of the interfaces he talked about that he was really happy with overall results, the amount of gain, how clean the gain was for a mic that is low gain like the SM7B, was this solid state logic, the SSL2 interface. I'll see if I can find him. He's just absolutely hilarious, and he's now like, his YouTube following is massive because he is so like particular about the way he does his reviews, and he gets deep into the data and the frequency response of all the interfaces. Yeah, it's so good. It's so good.
Oh, dude, yeah, sure. There, we'll put it out. I love that. I like you. It's one of those things where you get the mic. I get the SM7B. I mean, the SM7B is standard, right? And there's even a USB version now, which I can't imagine getting an SM7B and going USB, but that's a whole other conversation. But you know, I completely get it. I actually have the Rode Procaster here and at home, specifically for the frequency response, the way it works with my voice. And it's weird because, and Jack also he's an audiophile. He also makes music like you. He also does stuff with bands. But thank you. But Jack is the same way. We talk about it. It's like, once you know how to identify the good stuff, the bad stuff kind of is really bad. It's maybe even more bad. So you get your preferences. And the one thing I will say is, for people that are going on like, oh, I got to get an SM7B or I got to get a Rode Procaster, go test first, see what you like with your voice. I'm a bass. You sound like you look like a bass or a tenor. You're low in the range, right?
I'm not as low. I probably in the baritone range, but I found the SM7 has just the right mix of like highs and lows for me. It doesn't get too bassy, and so it's good. You know, when I get say Chateau de Caban, then you know, we've got game. Yeah.
That is called proximity effects, ladies and gentlemen. Proximity effects. And when I do proximity effect, I only do it with Chateau de Caban.
Oh wow, the lighting effect too. That's crazy.
Yeah. All right, Danny.
Well, speaking of music,
yeah. What are we doing? Are we doing Bars or Bots?
We got a game to play. Yes, sir.
I love bar. Have you heard of Bars or Bots, Luis?
I don't think so.
Oh,
are we playing a game?
Danny, why don't you explain Bars or Bots, sir?
Basically, we asked ChatGPT to give. Oh my God, I am slurring.
Listen,
when you notice your own slur,
this is a Tony Francisco concoction, sir. And Luis, it strikes me we need to send you some Tech Bar beer glasses as well as some Tech Bar whiskey glasses.
Send enough for the duty, yes.
Yeah, I know. No, we have Canadian suppliers too. I learned that game a long time ago. So
what
I got
happened
you. What happened was
actually, Ray, do you mind? While I get another drink real quick.
Yeah, do your thing. Real quick. All right, so Bars or Bots. We have a friend of the show. So,
by the way, Ray, I love how he connected. I noticed my own slurring with. I need to go get another drink.
Listen, Danny knows how to math. I'm not saying it's good math, but he's definitely mathing math. You know those people. You and I may be among those people, but that have the ability to go out and speak so confidently about something, it doesn't matter if it's true or not. Now, it's a superpower. We use it sparingly and with good judgment. Yeah. But you and I both know there's certain people that can go in and they can explain anything and make it make sense, even though if it doesn't make sense. To Danny, all the world is like that. It all makes sense. So to him, I'm slurring. I need to stop slurring. I need to get into the proper drinking voice as opposed to the on the way to the drinking voice. Is that close, Danny? Is that along the way?
I heard everything because I do not.
I know. That's why I'm asking you.
Yeah.
I don't want to explain it. I can't repeat it. I don't remember it. I don't.
Yeah, that's accurate. That's very accurate.
I'm glad I brought my bottle to the desk because now I can get my own refill.
You should show that bottle. That bottle's beautiful. That Woodford Reserve Double Oak. Woodford Reserve is just consistently top notch. It is phenomenal. Have you ever had the Kentucky Derby releases?
Yes, it's really nice.
Nice. Luis, you and me, we enjoy a good bourbon, and normally I'll have a bourbon with you, but today I'm doing tequila because Tony Francisco, much like that guy Ray Rossini they talk about, is a bad. He's bad advice, sir. All right, Danny,
I use bourbon and I rub it into my leather mouse pad, and I use that to give it the patina that I like. Bourbon. That's the trick.
I know you're serious. Yeah, that's the thing. Absolutely, it is. So I was actually, you're a man of class and grace, and so I know you'll appreciate this. I was actually looking at. I have my. Not my Remarkable, my books Air C3, whatever bullshit. It's a writing. It's like the Remarkable. And then I have my iPad, and I was like, I should get a custom leather folio made for this. And I started going down, looking at the different patinas that I like, and different, you get what I'm saying, the different, grains that I like. And so I appreciate that a man of your talents and experience would appreciate something like that. All right, Danny, bars or bots? What is this thing?
So here are the lyrics. We got a quick cameo by Chill Neil. Let's go ahead and play that real quick.
Okay, hold on.
On me, it won't let me be. Got me feeling like somebody wrong.
This is why I don't let Danny give explanations. Hold on.
But you didn't explain it,
Luis. Do you know what you need to do for this? Or?
No. You were in the process of trying to explain, and then Danny rejoined.
So you spent
Danny entered the chat.
Okay. Nikki said it right. Where there's Ray, there's tequila. So here we go. So bars or bots is, we have a good friend of the show. So Phil Buck is our media editor and new showrunner. He actually oversees all the shows on the MSP Media Network. Go join the Discord. But he has a roommate named Chill Neil. That may or may not look a little bit like Phil Buck, but whatever, it is what it is. Chill Neil has lots of songs, and he's taught me that mayonnaise can be an instrument. There's a whole thing about it. So Chill Neil has graciously offered to make these videos. And in these videos, he will sing or perform a lyric, and we are to determine, was this lyric an actual lyric that was published and was out in music in the world, or is it something written by ChatGPT? Okay. Is that so? You're going to determine real or fake. Was it made? Is it real bars, or was it made by a bot? That clear?
Got it. So the answer to the first clip is bars.
Do you happen to know where that's from?
I had no idea, but it feels like bars.
All right. To the audience, we have Steven says, but yet have never been in the same room. Sus? I think so. He's talking about Chill Neil and Phil Buck. That is facts. Danny, what's your thought here? I know you haven't seen
facts.
We don't
is it
see
bars?
the answers. Ooh.
No, I don't. I'm gonna go bars. Somebody's saying.
I'm gonna be contrarian. I'm gonna say bots, not because I think you're wrong, but because I think I could be right. So, Danny, let's see what it is. Okay, it's legit. I mean, all right.
Listen,
Luis, did you ever have a phase where you dressed like this?
I use ChatGPT a lot. Like I can tell you when something's bot generated or not. We'll see.
Okay, we're gonna test that, sir. We're gonna see now. Now you've laid the gauntlet down. We're gonna see if you're telling the truth.
All right, here we go. I'm gonna play this next one, and then I'll go ahead and switch over.
Success make the noise, from the struggle to the spotlight. I'm making all the right choices.
That was a rough closing on that on that phrase.
I feel there was like a lot of words there. I don't know.
I feel okay. So to be clear, obviously the music bed is not the original music bed from that song. So realize that the phrasing could have been off, which is why because you can make words that don't rhyme sound good in a phrase. So recognize that. I'm just giving you that piece of information. I don't know the answer.
All right. So my analysis here is that let success make the noise is a very real person thing to say. I'm going to say bars again.
You don't think it subsumes something from like some 90s hip hop, some like, I mean, I could think of 50 songs right now that said let's make the noise in the 90s easily.
What are you going with?
Marky
Bars or
Mark,
bars?
man. I mean, all right.
Wesley Smith says bot. I'm saying bars.
Yeah. All right, let's see what happens.
All right, I'm going bot as well.
I'm saying bars. Oh,
Damn.
damn.
Okay. All right.
I love that Danny is commenting in the chat as himself.
Did you bring it up?
SRC Danny.
Did you bring it up?
SRC Danny. I love SRC Danny. All right. What do we got next, Danny?
All right, here we go.
World, imagine that. I'd free all my sons. I love them, baby.
I know that song. That's bars, dude. That's Nas. Oh no, if I were the world, imagine that. I forgot. That's KRS-One, right? I think. Yeah.
I free all my sons. I love them, baby.
I love them, baby.
All right, so we've decided.
I
Bars.
rule the world. Imagine that.
Imagine that.
Yeah.
All my sons. I love them, baby.
Man,
That's
yeah,
bars.
no, that's bars.
That's KRS-One, dude. That's
That's
KRS-One.
bars.
I should not be helping you guys, but I'm like,
I mean,
that later.
Hey, if you know, you know.
That's what I'm saying. Small bag of chips in a run drink. If you know, you know.
come on.
Nas. I knew it was. I couldn't remember if it was KRS-One or Nas. Absolutely. I know that's from Illmatic. I know that's not Godson. I know that's Illmatic. I just couldn't remember who.
By the way, no joke, but I think like I recognize the jazz track that you're using on the background.
Yes, the sample. Yes.
All right, next one.
If there's one thing I appreciate, it's that 90s hip hop sampled so much great music that now as we're older, we go back and look at the original stuff that it came from, and we get to appreciate all new music. I fucking love that.
So true. So true.
All right.
All right, here we go.
Free, doing what I love. Yeah, that's the key.
Ooh. That's rough. Luis?
I'm gonna go bars.
Why do you say bars? Tell me. You sound conflicted when you say that.
I feel like I'm trying to like analyze whether there's a pattern to the whether you're trying to trick me.
Oh,
with,
you're
like,
thinking if it's A, B, A, B,
bars,
up,
bot,
down,
bars,
left, right.
bot. You know,
I got you. Okay.
I
Okay,
honestly
hold on. I
can't
can
tell with
answer
this
this
one.
for you. Hold on, I can answer this for you. Phil is in the chat right now. Phil, is there a pattern or is it random? Phil will answer. Give it 5 seconds because there's a delay. Because
Yeah,
FCC, blah, 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 the words, the George Carlin words. So Phil should be hearing this right now. Phil, is there a pattern or did you make this completely random? I have faith that Phil will say random, but go ahead, Danny, give your answer. We'll wait for Phil to answer his thing.
Random. Okay.
Yeah.
I think I'm still going with
Yeah.
bars on this one.
Yep. Phil has weighed in. He says it's all random. He says,
It's ChatGPT.
there's no rhyme or reason to it. Yeah.
All right, let's go to the last
Danny,
one.
how long will it take you to get here so we can go out drinking, dude? Luis, same question.
5.5
Danny,
hours.
30 minutes, 5.5 hours. All right, let's do it. Does Scalepad have a jet yet? I mean, you guys are getting there, right?
No, we'll have to hit up Danny Jenkins for that.
Get that unicorn money soon. All right, go ahead, Danny.
Story I've got to tell about 3 bad brothers you know so well.
Oh, see, I know that one already. Go ahead.
That's a bar. That's bars. I mean, come on.
Do you remember which bar?
Nah, I don't know.
Ah.
I say bot. 3
That's
bad
Beastie
brothers,
Boys,
you know,
my
so well.
guys. That's fucking Beastie Boys.
Jeez.
Jesus Christ, that's bars, man. I know that's bars. Go ahead, Danny.
Did you regal?
No, man. I used to be DJ. Here's a little story I've got to tell about three brothers that you know so well. Bah, bah, bah. Dude, that's bars, dude. How do you not know Beastie Boys?
Of course we know Beastie Boys. I just don't like this game.
It's not me. It's the game. The system is rigged.
That's fair. That's fair.
I love that Luis is so fucking like he's so good at this shit that he's like, listen, it's not me, it's you.
By the way, for anybody wondering, the wonderful organ trio jazz track on the background of all these tunes sounded like the Ben Patterson Trio, who backed me up on my latest album on Cellar Live called Ready, Willing, and Able.
So I will tell the audience this. Luis, you gave me the Spotify link. What? This was a CompTIA event. What? Last year, right? It was ChannelCon. It was a while back.
Yeah.
You had just released another album, right?
Yeah.
So when was that?
That was last year, July, like end of July.
So last year, July. Yeah. So ChannelCon was July, August. Yes. So that's the thing. Oh, look at Chill Neil, dude. The progenitor of Bars or Boss. Thanks, Luis, for making amazing backing tracks. So Luis gives me the Spotify, and I'm like, yeah, it's a friend. He's got talents. And you know what I mean? You've heard American Idol, you know. So I get it, and I'm like, I put it on, and I put it on the car because I had a drive to do, and I'm like, holy fuck, this is pretty damn good. It's been on my Spotify. It showed up. I played it so many times last year. It showed up my Spotify recap for this year. So you know. Okay. This was not, and I'm saying this now, not blowing smoke up his ass last year. I'm telling you this now. Go listen to his freaking Spotify playlist. It is good shit. It puts you in the mood. I'm just saying.
I appreciate you, man.
I'm sorry, Danny. Go ahead and put it back up. You had it before. Go ahead, Luis.
No, I appreciate you, man. That is such a nice thing to say. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. I'm serious. I wasn't like, look, and you know me personally. I'm never going to insult you. I have way too much respect for you for that. But I would tell you, like, nice album, not my thing, but I appreciate it. I can respect that. I know you respect that. You could tell me, hey, it's not your thing, but it is cool, right? That's good. I enjoyed it. I listen to it on the regular. Still to this day, I listen to it on the regular.
I love
Go
it.
listen. You'll enjoy it. Jack, Phil, you guys, you would enjoy it. All right, Danny, I know we're running long. We have some upcoming events. You want to bring them up so we can talk about what's going on coming up?
Sure, this should be fun.
Chateau
de Cabane.
Wait, well, this seems kind of...
So on MMN event calendar, we have AI Roundup, episode 72, May 18th at 10 a.m. MSP Dispatch 5/9 at 10 a.m. Eastern, and the Tech Bar right now with Luis Giraldo.
This is from the future.
Literally from the future.
I could appreciate the proximity to Luis, in a world where there was no alcohol. No. So, all right, Luis, what do you got? You're always on stage. You're always like giving people so much phenomenal information. You're always part of the community. What do you got going on, dude?
I've been mostly attending events the last 6 weeks. I want to say, mid-February, what NerdioCon was the beginning of a bit of the spring run. And just now it finally kind of chilled out for a bit because we were literally on the road with a big team. And sometimes we're doing 3 events a week. And so just hanging out at all the big shows and meeting folks. And it's been good. It's been kind of a crazy run. The summer is a bit different. Wife and kid will be out in Sweden for the summer. And so I'll be doing a few events here. I'll be down at ChannelCon in Atlanta.
Okay.
Doing a little trip to Lake of the Ozarks, which I'm excited to see for the first time.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that'll
Good
be fun.
for you, dude.
Might have to give Tim Coach a little ring, show up on his doorstep in Kansas City, be like, let's go have some barbecue, my dude. This is exactly
Tim's a
what
good
I'm
dude
planning.
to hang out with. Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
So Luis, is that considered beach over mountain, technically? If it's on the lake?
I don't know. No. This is all flyover states, my man. It's gonna be all mountains.
You've seen
Well, it has
Netflix.
a
You know what
lake,
the
so that's
Ozarks
kinda
are.
like
It's for
best of both
drugs, right?
worlds, you know?
I want. There's probably lake beaches. Obviously, are still
Yeah.
a thing. So yeah, I suppose
There you
it
go,
could be
best
either
of
or.
both worlds. That's it. You don't have to
Yeah.
decide anymore.
Yeah.
And for those that have, if there's anybody that's not completely aware of Luis, the Scalepad family, you're talking Quoter, Control Map, Cognition 360, Aaron Kennedy, that's a smart motherfucker. Backup Radar, Life Cycle Insights, one of my favorites. We love. It's funny. I found out we were the first webinar that Life Cycle Insights ever did. And you have a Life Cycle Manager, dude. You guys have like a nice suite. You guys, nobody's listening. It's completely confidential. What are you guys picking up next? Any backup companies? Any
Hard to say. Hard to say at this point, to be honest. There's always something brewing. We've got an incredible team on the board. I'll mention it briefly only because of how incredible he is at this thing of just having the conversations and sort of building the relationships for the long term. Is one of our board members is Joel Abramson, who was the CEO of Fully Managed in Vancouver, a big MSP, and he sort of drove the acquisition they sold to TELUS, a big public company in Canada. And he's been kind of driving our entire corp dev strategy. And Joel's so great. In fact, I sat down with him for one of my live streams. I do a weekly live stream called MSP Confidential. Speaking of confidential things,
which you do phenomenal, yeah.
And the cadence is grueling. I don't know how often Tech Bar is, but the weekly live stream cadence is incredible. You got to sometimes pull stuff out of the magic hat to make it happen. But Joel sat down with me back in December and just kind of gave the lowdown on his entire experience with M&A and stuff like that. And it was a really cool conversation. Yeah.
How is that? Because, you guys are a little bit different. You guys are doing M&A in the space. It's not your traditional stuff, right? It's so, you were an MSP before, you worked for some vendors, that kind of stuff. And this is MSP Confidential. Guys, go check it out. I'll put the link in the chat.
Oh, that's the Enable podcast.
That's the Enable,
which just launched today. They because we were at Empower, and I sat down with Chris Massey and Steve Mangalti helps put it together. So that's Chris Massey of Enable. A lot of people don't realize that I was at Enable for about a year and a half because it was over COVID, but I'm quite close with the Enable folks. They're a great group of people. And and Chris runs a great podcast called Now That's It. I insist it should be called Now That's IT because they capitalize both of the I and the T. and we have a debate about it literally every time we talk. But mine is MSP Confidential. You can find it at mspconfidential.com or just on the Scalepad website. And it's been kind of this interesting thing. Like people ask me, like, why do you start doing a podcast? Who needs another podcast in this day and age, right? And I feel like we all go through this interesting transition of like, I have so many questions. I'm so curious. I want to talk to people. I want to like get them to tell me their story. And this has been a bit of that learning experience through this platform, giving some of those folks who are very just quiet success heroes, just doing their thing, just bring them on and have them tell their story. And it's been kind of fun.
And that's the thing, right? Going back to what I was talking originally about going out and meeting new people, getting new experiences, going to hear other stories. That's what it boils down to. The things we've learned about are stories from others. And then we've taken elements from that and we said, okay, well, I can apply this to my life. I like this. I don't like that. I like this, but I can execute it differently this way. You start to learn from all these people. And I think getting those stories out, this boils down, I'm one of the moderators of our MSP. I think we're sitting at 173,000 members at the moment.
That's crazy.
We are, it's phenomenal. I get Reddit can be a dumpster fire, to which, I fully own it. It's right there. So,
epic.
So, but as an MSP community, it is also the largest MSP community on the planet. So, but looking at that, talking to these people, you hear so many different things. And I talk about when I was an MSP, when I first started as an MSP, I got my MCSE, my CCIE in 2003. I was doing network engineering in the 90s. We go back.
Dude, we weren't even using the term MSP back in 2003.
Oh, it wasn't. There was no MSP. I was an ITSP. I was a VAR. I was I was the IT guy. I was that guy's cousin that knew somebody that went on YouTube. Well, there was no YouTube back then. We had Alta Vista. But so my point is, I've often said, if our MSP or any of the MSP communities existed back then, I would have hit my first million so much faster. I would have built it to the point of exiting so much faster. The resources available today are phenomenal. And I appreciate people like you, people like Barney Stockman, people like Alex Farling, people like Chris Day, so many others that share their wisdom, their experiences, so that the new guy coming in, the new woman coming in saying, I'm going to be an MSP, they don't have to fuck around and find out the way that you and I had to. They have the answers already filled out. That's the truth, right? Tell me the truth. You didn't at Ook. You didn't fuck around and find out. We all did.
We sure did. And I just like you, I pride myself in the fact that we're one of the few with the 3-letter domains. You know,
the 3-letter
domains. The 2-letter TLDs. Yeah. Not anymore. I had to bequeath. I had to bequeath it as part of the transaction. But
how much did that hurt when you were forget selling the company? You're selling the domain. You're like.
I know. Can I keep the domain? You guys are not going to need this.
That's part of the deal.
That's not how that works. That's not how that works. Yeah. All right, Luis, I know we've taken a lot of your time, brother. It is always fun hanging out with you. I appreciate you so much. What do you got coming up next? What are you doing?
Let's see. I'm just out with the family down in Scottsdale next week for a bit. Might be a little warm, but it was kind of the cards we were dealt, and we're cool. I hang out in the pool, you know, the little guys all into the pools and stuff like that. PAX 8 Beyond will be down there in Denver, middle of June. That should be a great show. You know, they had their first outing last year, and this year should be even bigger and better. We trust Rob Ray to deliver, of course.
Always.
And that's we'll be in the UK. We're spending a lot of time with some of the peer groups in the UK. The network group is a big group we're focusing on this year, and so we'll be out there for one of their events near the Manchester area, Cheshire Park, or Carden Park near Cheshire. And so that's beginning of July, and then ChannelCon, and then the fall gets a little nutty again with all the events, as you know. So
fall gets crazy, yeah. All right, my brother. Well, I appreciate you hanging out. It is nice because normally we talk online, but we don't get to hang out until an actual conference. This has been wonderful. Thanks so much for hanging out with us, Danny. How do you feel about tonight's episode?
I felt it went well, aside from my slurring, but I think it went well.
You know, if I had to put a black mark on this entire episode, it'd be the salt in the coffee. But we'll leave that for another conversation. Yeah.
Thank you, mi hermano. I appreciate, bro. You let me know what the aguardiente you like. I'm bringing it to whatever conference you have next. Right here, bro. Mi corazón right there. And for that, I'll put up a chateau, right? Just for you, dude.
Chateau.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thanks so much for hanging out with us. We appreciate each and every one of you. It has been phenomenal. It's been fun. And seriously, if you go to an event, go hit up Luis. He is one of my favorite human beings on the planet. I say that without reservation. Until next time, take care of yourselves and each other.
This has been a broadcast of the MSP Media Network.